So again, thank you for joining us for the first installment of Blacknificent Conversations. Tonight we're talking about Blacks on screen and on stage, and we have some wonderful, wonderful guests tonight. My first guest has a Master of Fine Arts in Creative Writing and Playwriting with a specialty in 19th century African American literature. Played Gertrude Ma Rainey in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and is the founder of Memoirs Theater Alliance. Please give a warm welcome to CaSaundra Simone. Come on, y'all, welcome her. Welcome, CaSaundra. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. My next guest is featured in Rob Mitchell's Let the Truth Be Told, in James Cohen's The Headquarters, in AMC's Low Winter Sun, and the Sci-Fi Network's 12 Monkeys. Please give a warm welcome to my friend Shatyrah Dexter. Come on, give her a hand, give her a hand.
Hello.
Give her a hand. Thank you so much, Shatyrah, for being with us. All right, everybody that's coming on in, welcome. I need you to share. I need you to share as you come on in. My next guest served as the music director for Grammy Award-winning gospel legend Dorinda Clark Cole for 18 years, is one of the producers on the soundtrack for the hit film Deep Blue Sea, starring LL Cool J and Samuel L. Jackson, has written and produced several stage plays such as Diamond Girl, She's the Boss, and One Crazy Christmas, is the creator of films like Senseless and A Good Man, and also the creator of the streaming platform Mainstream. Come on, audience, please welcome my guest, Mr. Joe Smith in the house. Come on, welcome.
Hey,
Joe
everybody.
Smith. Thank you, Joe, for being with us. Welcome, everybody.
Absolutely.
All right. Share as you come on in. And my final guest tonight, the artistic director of the renowned Pasadena Playhouse since 1997, co-founder of the Off-Broadway Theater, the production company, creator of the highly acclaimed musicals Play On and Blues in the Night, which both received Tony Award nominations, and director of some of your favorite episodes of hit shows such as Girlfriends, Frasier, Friends, and Everybody Loves Raymond. Please give a very warm welcome to Mr. Sheldon Epps.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Good to see you all.
Thank you, Mr. Epps. Thank you, everybody, so much. Audience, can y'all give all of our guests a very warm welcome tonight? All right. Now, for those who are just joining us, thank you so much for being on. We need you to do two things tonight. Some of us have done it, some of us have not, but I need you to do two things before we get started. I need you to share this. I need you to tag at least two people. Can you do that for me? I need you to share this on your story, on your timeline, and in a group that you're in, and I need you to tag at least a couple people. All right? Well, let's do it. Let's get started. And with this first question, anybody can go in whatever order. Whoever wants to take this first can take it. First thing I want to ask is, what was your first ever role, script, or production? And any of you can take that first. First ever.
Who we want to go?
No, go ahead.
My first ever was an indie film by Royce Davis called Love Finds a Way. We never got a chance to finish it, and was a little disappointed that we didn't get a chance to finish it. But yeah, that was my first one back, in 2011 at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So I always tell this story. When I was a kid, my favorite TV shows were Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley. And I didn't know what I was doing, but I would sit in my room and make up episodes. And I wouldn't write it down. I would talk through everybody's dialogue, and I would literally change my voices, to match everybody's dialogue, and I would just make up lines. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what any of that meant. And then a couple of years after that, my mother put me in piano lessons. So I spent the next 30-something years in music. So my first actual script where it was written down was when I did my stage play Diamond Girls in 2009.
Oh, wow. Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff.
So you all are all youngsters compared to me. I got these age groups going on here. My first is probably so long ago I don't really remember what the first was, but one of the first was the show you mentioned before, Blues in the Night, which actually was I think it was 1979 actually, and was just intended to be a late night cabaret show for 6 performances, and has gone on since then to be done off Broadway, and all over the world. So it's a good example of you never know that great things can come from very small things.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Good stuff.
Well, I've not been in anything as far as television, but most of my plays have been when I was in college and as of in the last 30 years, university and local theater. So I think my first role was I want to say her name was Bernice in Zoom In and the Sign. There was a production at Western Michigan University where I graduated. And so a lot of the roles, that was the very first role, I will say that. I was an understudy for Effie for Dreamgirls, also at Western Michigan University. So
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
a while ago. That was back in like 93.
Wow. Okay. Shatyrah,
Yes.
when did you know that you wanted to pursue this as a career or a profession? And or did you always know that this is what you wanted to do?
Okay, so don't laugh at me, y'all. All right. So the first time I knew that I wanted to act was when I watched Purple Rain.
Hey,
I wanted to be Apollonia. I wanted to be Prince's girlfriend.
Okay.
No,
You
but
and a million others.
you're right. But the real time I knew was watching Keisha Knight Pulliam on the Cosby Show.
Okay.
She was a little black girl like me, and I saw me doing it. I fell in love with the show and all the shows that came after it, and the actors and the characters, and I'm like, I want to do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have to say the same. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to jump in, but I
You're
have
good.
to
You're
say,
good.
that's a similar dream of mine, Shatyrah, Rudy, and
Yeah.
but I even want to go back even further, and because it's something that I've always been a performer. Like I was always the kid with the brush in her hand who was singing, and so it's always been a dream of mine. I know when I was in high school, my mother knew that I was intending on pursuing it. She tried to give me it was either be a hairstylist or be an actress, but she was like, you argue so well, you might as well be a lawyer. So I'm like,
Wow.
but I did pursue communications as my minor, but I think I've always known that this was something that I wanted to do.
Wow.
But I knew she wasn't going to be too pleased because, she is that going to pay the bills?
That's right.
You know how we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Joe or Mr. Epps?
Well, I'll say I grew up in Los Angeles until I was 12, and there was very little in the way of theater, live theater in Los Angeles at that time. But my family moved to New Jersey, right outside of New York City. And my mother loved going to the theater. So she started dragging me to the theater with her when we moved. And I saw, again, I'm dating myself here, but I saw Pearl Bailey and Hello Dolly and Leslie Uggams and Hallelujah Baby and Sammy Davis Jr. and Golden Boy. And there was just something magical about seeing all of these beautiful, beautiful Black people on the stage, really owning the stage, owning the theater, owning the craft.
Wow.
You know, at a time when you saw very few Black people, certainly on Broadway stages, and very few on television or in movies or any of that. So it just opened up my eyes to the possibility that being in the theater, working in the theater as an actor and later as a director was something that was possible for me also.
Oh, that's awesome.
So for me, of course it was music. I served as music director on a couple of stage plays, major stage plays. So that was when I first fell in love with theater, but it was from a musical standpoint. Produced a couple of soundtracks for some stage plays, and in the late 90s, early 2000s, I started getting an idea for my own stage play. So while I'm working as music director on these other stage plays, I am noticing the process. I'm learning the lingo, I'm learning the positions and things of that nature. And so I launched out and then did my first play in 2012. And then later on, a few years later, after doing a few plays, then all of the playwrights here in Detroit started switching to film and TV production. And so I made that leap during the pandemic, and like I really fell in love with I like theater too. I like the immediacy of the response of the audience. I like, that if it's funny, you're going to get a laugh right then. If it's not, you're going to hear silence right then. You're going to know in real time if your stuff is good or not. But the process of filmmaking, the process of TV and filmmaking, I've fallen in love with that, even more so than theater and music. So,
okay,
there it
wow,
is.
okay. Okay. So since we have already kind of alluded to it, and so I think it's a good segue for my next question. Is there a considerable difference in how you prepare for a theater production, a television production, or a movie production? And if so, do you have a preference?
Well, I think like Shatyrah, I think I've had opportunities to do television. I know when I was in college, we did, acting for the camera, and we would do, you know, uh, just different state. In grad school, of course, I taught script writing and playwriting and things like that. I don't think the preparation is different. I think and Mr. Epps can confirm for me, it's the time frame of a stage as opposed to television and film is different, because you kind of have to get the story out in the first 7 minutes for television, if that that much. On stage you can kind of work it a little bit, but you still don't want to insult the intelligence of your audience by trying to be too prescriptive and trying to push the joke. It's like either they get it or they don't, and it's really up to you, whether or not they get it. So the preparation is always, for me, never to take any audience for granted.
Okay.
Every audience is different. You have to respect it. If you don't get nervous, you're not respecting your craft, or you've gotten a little bit, of an ego, because you just never know. And you have to play it, not overplay it, but you have to just let the dialogue speak for itself, and trust the playwright or the person who wrote the piece,
Okay.
to let the words speak for themselves.
Yeah, I would agree with all of that. I think all of that is very, very true, very accurate. The biggest difference is a difference of time. In the theater, at least you get some rehearsal time, whether that's 1 week or 4 weeks or 6 weeks.
Right.
Hopefully, at least 3 or 4 weeks, but sometimes only 1 week. But you get some time. Whereas television is, a fast-moving machine.
Yeah.
An hour show is made from start to finish in 12 to 14 days, where you're shooting every day. A half-hour show is made in 5 days, where you rehearse for 3 days and then you shoot the latter part of the week. So, it's a much, much faster machine, and you have to produce so much faster. You don't get to experiment as much because you have to deliver right away. But I think it's true that, what you're always after is good storytelling, good, honest storytelling through character, through situation. And for me, that does not change between theater and screen or television.
Right.
You just want to tell the story well, interpret the script well, and be truthful and honest about it.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the things I had to learn was like even the difference in how to write for stage versus how to write for TV and film. Theater is a lot more dialogue heavy. You have to say a lot more, whereas with TV and film you can show more. And so I remember even turning my first play into a film. I didn't have a good sense of, is this too wordy? Is this too like, are these characters talking too much? Like I had to, figure that out. And even formatting, the way that you format the script, it's just the way that you tell the story is different. And even directing actors, if you get actors that come from theater, they're used to being big and everything is big and huge. And it's like, whoa, hey. Yeah, get them to dial it back a little bit. So yeah, those are some differences as well.
Okay. That's good.
I think as far as preparing for like the stage or television or film, for me, because I have trust issues, I tend to, well, mine is television, but for film and theater, I tend to learn the entire script because I'm afraid that my scene partner will go off somewhere and I want to be able to bring them back, to where we're supposed to be. Television. So when I did Low Winter Sun, I remember being in the trailer and they came in and was like, oh, here's your sides or whatever. And then they came back maybe 20 minutes later and was like, oh, they wrote something different. And I'm like, so you want me to memorize it right now? And they're like, yeah, go to hair and makeup. And I'm like, oh, so I got to memorize it while I'm in hair and makeup. So the preparation for that, just be ready. You don't have a choice.
Okay.
Film, you can call a line if you throw something off. Stage, you have to be on it. You just have to be. Because there's no go back. There's no, oh, let me do that over. Let me run that again. You gotta be on. There's no take. You have to be on. So in that respect, I just memorized the whole thing that way. I don't have a problem.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Listen, before we go to the next question, listen, audience, two things. Continue to tag and share. But the other thing is, if you have a question that you want to ask one of our guests or all of our guests, put it in the comments and we'll do our best to get it in. All right. All right. So what's something about this whole world of acting and writing and directing that might surprise the average person or someone on the outside who doesn't know really how it goes within the industry? What would you think would be surprising to those persons?
That is hard. It's hard work. It's not easy. Okay. People think they can jump right in. Oh, somebody said I'm a natural, so I'm gonna just go ahead and do it. No, baby, you have to work at this thing, and it is sometimes, most of the time, discouraging for like auditioning. The auditioning process can be a discouraging thing because you're gonna get a lot of no's before you get your yeses. It takes a while. You have to be steadfast at it, you know, and have thick skin.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a very good one. I tell people all the time that because you get a lot of people who, excuse me, because they have big personalities or because they're the life of the party at their family functions, you know, people will be like, you need to be on TV.
Right.
You need to be an actress. And so some of those people actually set out to do it, but without learning the craft, without studying the craft, without having respect for it as a craft, and they just want to do it and have big personalities. It's like, hey guys, we're not going to hire you to play yourself.
To be yourself, right?
So yeah, I piggyback off of that. Like, you really have to respect it as a craft and treat it as such.
Yeah,
very true. You know, sometimes I run into young actors who say, "Well, you know, I'm talented. I got this. I don't need to study. I don't need to go to school to study acting. I know what I'm doing." And I say, "Well, would you want a brain surgeon to open up your skull, do a brain operation, who had not studied, who had not gone to school and done an internship and residency and all of that?"
Right.
It's the same, you know. It is hard work. You know, the result of what we do ought to be magical. You know, what people see on the screen, on the stage, that should be magical.
Yeah.
But creating it is not magic. It's skill and craft and technique and hard work, as we've been saying.
I remember because I used to write plays, and you know, I'd started a theater program at my church at one point, and then someone took it over, and they once told me, and you know, and I'm formally trained, and that's the thing that's hard too, is when you're formally trained, you're critical of a lot of things, and the way that people come at you, and the way that I had someone tell me, forget everything that you've learned. And I'm like, how do I do that? You know, and why would I do that? You know, it was very insulting. And I'm just like, you know, for no offense, but for a church play, I get it. But everybody don't think that what I did is good at church. So I mean, why do I need to take away my formal training just to make people? That's not something I can do. But I think too, people as a playwright, you know, again, formally trained, people they take for granted the gift and the art of inflection, punctuation, all that stuff. You know, it's like a run-on sentence. They forget that you have to have some type of personality or some type of, you know, you can't be flat. If there's a question, ask it as a question. If it's an exclamation point, use some, you know, it's just people take a lot for granted. And then they think that when you're doing, you know, the phrase now is team too much. They think that when you're doing your job, or when you're executing, you know, your trained craft, that you're being extra. And like she said, it's not that hard. Yeah, it is hard. Very hard.
Yeah. You know, that so resonated with me as a pastor, because no, we get the same thing. So me and my colleagues, we talk about, like, I had a lady straight to my face tell me, she's like, "Oh, what you do looks so easy." And I said, well, the operative word is looks.
Right.
And it looks easy. If it looks easy, that means I must have been working really, really hard that week, because so I get it. And I think one of the things that, when you're in the field of all creative arts, I think there is that assumption that it doesn't take work because it's just something you can, like, do.
Right.
And so we appreciate the work you guys put in, and thank you for being committed to the work of it. So let me ask you this. What has, in your opinion, been the most challenging part of navigating this industry? And with that, how have you managed to overcome it?
I'll go first with that just to get that one out of the way. I graduated from college and I went straight from, after finding out, that's a long story, but I went from walking the stage into motherhood.
Okay.
I was supposed to be walking off the stage to New York. And just, life took a different path. And so navigating not necessarily the industry, but just remembering who I am, remembering that I'm still talented, remember that I still have it, but I have to take a break right now because motherhood, requires that. I mean, in that time frame, I, pursued my master's and my PhD. One day I'm 90% done. One day God will make a way for me to be able to finish that. But he didn't stop me from learning. It was just a path. Now I have an adult son who is gainfully employed and I'm trying to get back into that path. And he told me, you got to remember who you were before you were my mother. And so that was the blessing that I needed. That was the release that I needed. And even at my age, I'm still like, I recently, because I got back on stage, you mentioned that I did, my Rainey. That was my first step back to the stage in over 10 years. And it came naturally. It was humbling because I hadn't had to audition, because a lot of times when I would do local theater, they would just be like, call Cece. That's what they call me, CaSaundra. But they would be like, just call Cece, she can do it. And I would always be available. But I needed to make sure that I produced a great citizen, to society, and God blessed. So now I'm trying to get back into it. So navigating now is, okay, am I still relevant? Can I still do this? And I had to remember, and I just posted something on my Facebook page that just blessed me. It blessed me. Talking about how old Samuel L. Jackson was when he got his started, and Cicely Tyson when she got started, and it just made me understand that if I want it, I just have to pursue it, and trust God now, because I think there's still time. So I'm navigating that. I'm navigating, now.
Yeah.
The new me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just to piggyback off of that, I'm a mom as well. I have 3. So when I started, I just had the one, and things started picking up for me. I was getting all the callbacks. And then I had another, and I was trying to keep it from the talent agency because I didn't want the auditions to stop coming in.
Yeah.
But things were slowing down, but I was still getting auditions. I got married, had another child. And I took some time off and thought like, man, I need to remember who I was before and get back on that horse and go. Things happen the way they're supposed to happen.
Right.
I didn't move or accept a project. I still don't move or accept a project unless I hear from the Lord. Hello.
That's it.
Go ahead and do it. I have to have a feeling for it. But along the way, the no's or getting close and not booking has been so hard on just how I feel about my craft, what I can do. So I'm still trying to overcome that. You're not gonna get everything, Shatyrah.
Yeah.
For you.
And Shatyrah, I didn't even pursue an agent. That's how I didn't want to. I just said I'll stay local. I'll do both. That's something that I know I can do. But I didn't want to disappoint anybody until I knew that I was available.
Yes.
So now I know.
Do it.
Starting over from scratch, but I'm here.
Yes.
Like Celie said, I'm here.
I think for me as a producer, one of the challenges is always, getting projects financed, whether it's theater or film, going out and getting investors and negotiating, with them. I hate dealing with other people's money, but it's something you got to do. And, I've, had to have some tough conversations if we didn't make the money back. telling somebody that that entrusted me with their finances that it is no longer with us.
Wow.
Your money has gone on to glory. It's never an easy conversation.
Right.
Thankfully, since we've been, doing films and Tubi has been a great outlet and revenue sharing partner on the film side. So, all of the films, I have not only gotten my investors their money back, but they have made money. And I like those conversations a whole lot than your money's gone.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, first of all, I want to lift up my sisters on the panel for meeting those challenges. And, everybody has challenges in their life, but, clearly you've met challenges and gone on to do what you have a passion to do. And I'm really impressed by that. And we are grateful for you to do that.
Yes.
My challenge, and I'm sure it's one that everybody here has also faced. My challenge was always not being confined by what I call the black box. I never wanted to be a black director. I wanted to be a director who had the good fortune to be a black man.
That's right.
And I did not want to be restricted by my color any more than white directors should be restricted by theirs, and they are not. They get to do whatever they want to do all over the map, including sometimes work by black writers. So if they have that freedom and they have that capability to cover the map and do Shakespeare and Chekhov and whoever, I wanted to have that same freedom, but I had to fight for it because the time that I was coming along, and still now, the entertainment world wants to put you in the black box or the woman box or the Latino box and say, okay, well, you're a black woman, so clearly that's all you should do and that's all you should write about. Well, CaSaundra should write about whatever she wants to write about that she feels strongly about. Joe should write whatever kind of music he wants to write. You can tell Andre Watts that he shouldn't play Chopin as well as Duke Ellington. I don't think so. So, that's a challenge I think that has existed over many decades. Exists perhaps less, but it's still a challenge that we all face, I think.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Okay. I want to ask, if you could remake any one stage production or film, which one would it be and why?
Remake.
If somebody were to give you the keys and say, take this, do what you want to do with it, remake it, remix it, whatever, they give you total freedom to reimagine it. Which stage production or film would that be and why?
Well, I'll jump in just because I have something I wanted to do for a long time. A lot of people know the play Raisin in the Sun.
Yes.
Many people don't know that there is a musical version of Raisin in the Sun called Raisin, which actually won the Tony Award as Best Musical when it was on Broadway and toured very successfully. But for some reason, it's very, very rarely done, and I think is deserving of a really great revival.
That's a good one.
Raisin.
Ironically, I'm going to be co-directing Raisin here in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Yeah,
so I'll be co-directing that with a colleague of mine.
Oh, great.
I can't really think of one. And the reason why I say that is because I truly believe as you know how Erykah Badu says, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive. It's one of those things where you want to respect because it's not easy. But one thing I learned about research, and I think this is what Mr. Epps just said is resonating with me, is that, I've always been a student. and a study. So it's like with research, it's always ongoing. It's never final.
That's
You
right.
know, it's just like scripture. You can listen to the same scripture over and over again, and it'll mean something different each time that you hear it.
Yeah.
If it's within context.
That's
So
right.
I think I kind of had a feeling Mr. Epps was going to say raisin for some reason. I don't know why. That one just kind of, I knew it.
That's funny.
Because I wasn't really happy when I was happy with the art, with the actors, the cast, when they remade it. I think it was in 96. Was it 2006? With whoever, when Audra McDonald and Sean Combs.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's probably right.
The Felicia
2000,
Rashad.
maybe 2000.
When they did it, and that's because sometimes we don't want, because the original Lorraine Hansberry is one of my favorite playwrights. Between her, August, and Susan Laurie Parks, my top three. But I'm learning now of the new ones. Dominique Moruso, I think it is, from Detroit, and the one who wrote did P Valley. I think she's from Detroit as well.
Katori Hall.
Katori Hall. I think once you just respect the craft, and you have to, kind of respect what went into it, and you may not want to touch it just because that artist may want to revise it their own way.
Yeah.
And I think that eventually you're going to touch on, because that was one of my, and I don't want to jump ahead of your questions, but I think I know where you're going with this, so I'm just going to leave it at that and wait for that question to present itself. I'll leave it there.
I would never ever want to see a remake of this film. However, Harlem Nights, one of my favorites.
Right.
And I want to be Vera Walker so bad.
Listen, Vera Walker.
I love her. But I don't think they should. I don't think they should ever touch it. I'd leave it alone. But in the event,
You're ready. You're ready.
Girl.
Yeah, we living in a world of remakes now. So
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
They are coming.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's okay, because we have to appeal to a new audience.
Right.
They're not going to feel it the way we feel it. I mean, because this new Color Purple got the business. I mean,
Right.
they were not feeling it. You got to have a special heart and eye to appreciate what just happened with that. You have to.
All right, hold.
Okay. My bad.
All right. So, no, you're good. So let's just go there. So speaking of remakes, so end of last year, the new iteration of Color Purple comes out. They say it's going to be a musical. I guess half the people didn't get the memo. They went to the theater. Some were livid about it. Some absolutely. I enjoyed it, but some people, it was like nowhere in the middle. It was like I absolutely loved it or I absolutely hated it. Let's crucify anybody who had anything to do with it. So let me ask you all what number one, if you want to give your review of it, but also why do you think the reaction was so strong to it? And I guess particularly within our community, there was a visceral response to it, one way or another. So I'll let anybody jump in here.
Well, I think there was a little bit of false advertising. If you saw the trailer, the trailer had like no music in it. So, I think it led people to believe that they were seeing a dramatic version of Color Purple, not the musical. And listen, some people, I love musicals, but some people don't like musicals.
Right.
So, if I watched that trailer and I'm a person who hates musicals and went to see the movie, I probably would have hated it.
Gotcha. Anybody else want to?
Overall, I liked it. However, I think there were, and I get musicals are more upbeat and, bright and bubbly, whatever. I think I was waiting on those famous lines to happen that just didn't happen. I didn't hear. Did she say that "you show is ugly" line? I don't remember it.
Not in its original context.
Right.
They remixed it.
Yeah, and see, I just wanted very specific things to happen, and I get, those things may not be able to happen because it's a musical. Cool, but I just wanted to hear the, how did he die part. At the funeral. I wanted to hear the "you show is ugly." I wanted to hear, certain things. And I felt like it was rushed.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily get the opportunity to feel sorry for Nettie leaving. Him using a gun instead of throwing her rocks and beating her hands, and those moments. It wasn't, I ain't gonna say it wasn't dark enough for me, but it didn't make me feel enough. They didn't give me enough time. It was rushed. Let's hurry up and get to the next scene. Let's hurry up and get here. At least for me, it was. I don't know.
So
yeah,
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No,
I was just gonna say I didn't see it just because when I realized that it was a musical, I just wasn't interested in seeing the color purple as a musical. Like, it's like I don't want to see that story as a musical. Yeah. And so I didn't go see it. I feel so ashamed.
For me, I saw it on the principle of let's do it for the culture. Yeah. First of all. Mm-hmm. Second of all, I did it. I went to see it from a playwright perspective, from an actress's perspective, from a historian's perspective, because my specialty for my PhD and my master's was 19th century African American literature. Okay. And the role of mother is really my topic. Has it changed throughout 19th century literature? Mm-hmm. And for me, there were things that, of course, I saw the movie in 1986. Right. It's a different era for those of us who were around in that time. It's going to hit us differently, especially from the perspective of Alice Walker and why she wrote The Color Purple and what it meant to her as a writer, what it meant to her. And so what I understood the writer, or just the, and I get it. That's what I'm saying. I respect everybody's take on it. That's why, but what I didn't appreciate is everybody, like Pastor Marcus said, bashing people who liked it. Right. As opposed to if you didn't, I understood that. But that same grace to understand why I could appreciate it for the art that it was. We're talking about, this is the microwave generation, past millennial. They're not going to sit down for 3 hours like we did in 1986 and watch it. They're not going to have the same visceral reactions to certain nuances of this film, because it's not. We didn't know who Whoopi was. We didn't know who Oprah was. We didn't know who Danny Glover was back in those days. But you got to this is the age that they're growing up in, and that's who they wanted to see. And it appealed to the taste of the audience. It appealed to their target audience. It wasn't for us. That's how I took it. It wasn't for me.
I agree.
But because I have done the research and because I've worked it, I understood it from the writer's perspective, the artist's perspective. I understood it from a lot of different perspectives. So, God bless it. I think it's going to have its place in history. Yeah. Regardless, but it may not last very long. The longevity of it may not be, but it's going to have its place. I think so.
Yeah. Now, my only issue with the people who were critiquing it. See, it's one thing that if you don't like musicals, but then we always go too far. Some, when people were saying, "Oh, the music was trash." Are you kidding me?
No, it wasn't.
Oh.
It was great.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, they came out the gate. That I am. And that first scene, hey, they killed that. Now,
They did.
again, if you don't like musicals, understood, that's fine. But you can't, because you don't like musicals, now you want to say the music wasn't good. All right. But anyway, so but anyway, yeah, so I guess that's just one of those things. So time will tell. Time will tell how well that iteration went over. Now, let me ask you guys this. We're getting down to the wire. What is your overall feeling about the current opportunities for African Americans and the way that African Americans are represented both on Broadway and in Hollywood? Are we in a good place? Do we need to shift? Do you like what you see? Do you not like what you see? Or do you see the opportunities there? What do you guys think?
I'd say we're in a good place. We could always be in a better place. But I think we're in a good place. Looking back on, as I said, when I was younger, it was an event if you saw one Black person a week on television.
Wow.
Their one was the phrase, that you would scream through the house and everybody would come to look at.
You said their one.
Their one.
We got one.
That was for real. When I was 10 or 11 years old.
Wow.
There would be one Black person a week or a month or whatever. So, we got to be grateful and sing praises for the fact that is no longer true. And I think we have a much wider range of stories being told about us and for us than certainly 15 or 20 years ago.
That's right.
Much wider. And thank God, for all these cable stations now, so that there's so many possibilities for so much more work to be produced. For not only for us as those who work in the business, but for audiences, it's so widespread now, which is great.
Yeah.
Good.
And I agree with him. To piggyback off of that, I just feel like it's such a great time right now because, the process of filmmaking, is not as expensive as it used to be. Still not cheap. But the access to the tools that we have now, where we can produce good, clean, quality content, with just, knowing the technique and respecting the craft of filmmaking, you can make a good product, and then there's so many outlets for that product. You don't necessarily have to go through the Hollywood system if you don't want to. And I think that's what has driven even the filmmaking boom that's happening here on the independent side in Detroit. It's just like, we can, make what we want and create what we want. And we've got an outlet where we can monetize it. And so, this is great. I'm having a ball. Of course, it could be better, right? Of course, we don't have certain infrastructure things like, we don't have major sound stages here and, certain tools, like VFX and things like that are not, popping here. A lot of those resources aren't popping here. But we're headed in the right direction. So I'm excited about that.
I think I agree with everything you both just said. Just watching us on television has been over the past 10 years has been nice to see the progression. There was a time when you had your staple plus size women, you had Janelle Carter, you had whoever, you had 1, 2, maybe 3 here and there. They only did this, they only did that. Now you have a wider, I don't want to say selection of plus size women, but you have
more opportunities given to plus size women. Right.
got more. It's getting close to my bedtime.
You have a
More
psoriasis.
opportunities.
You got a psoriasis.
You know, but we're able to see different ethnicities, not just our white counterparts. You're seeing the black and browns, on the TV more often now, and that just gives us hope that okay, we are going in the right direction. Let's keep driving and keep fighting for more of this. So yeah.
I think what if COVID did nothing else, it showed us that we can go to church and we can do an audition.
Right.
We can record, and like you said about those technologies, I mean, those are still some things that I'm learning. I'm like all of us on here, we're old school, so we're used to certain ways of doing things. I still, how some people say, the Bible app on the phone don't. It's still something about the turning of the pages. And for me, it's still something about the turning of the pages, and going back to the grassroots of it all. I do think that, one thing that I prayed for recently, when I decided I was done with corporate America and I just wanted to go back into the school system, was, and I did my Rainey because it woke me up, and I just said, Lord, I want to do this full time. And so what I know that I can do now is I can, once I get a hold of technology and I've been, taking little classes here and there and trying to still stay up on point about, what's going on, is that, like Joe said, we have that now, whereas we don't have to wait. Right. And that's one thing about when I went back to grad school, I went to a PWI. So it wasn't, and I wanted to go back to the Krigwa players, theater for us, by us, about us, and near us, it was just that. And that's what my goal is eventually, to has been to teach people who can't afford to go to college, but still have that thirst to be creative. You don't have, and that's the only way that I will forget everything that I've been taught, is because everybody doesn't have the same opportunity that I had to go to college. Some people are in my neighborhood who may want to. I've done workshops where I've had adult writers who are now, just realizing their ability. They just need the structure. Because some people will be like, girl, I got this script I want in my mind. I want you to write from. No, because if I write it, I'm taking credit.
You're right.
I went, but I can help you structure it so that you can put it on stage and see it yourself. But I'm not going to write it for you, because I'm trying to get rid of this mental block so I can write my own stuff. But
okay.
You period. So, I think there's room enough, as the kids say, for everybody to eat.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right. I got one serious question, and then we're gonna have a little fun as we wrap up. What advice would you offer to someone aspiring to really get into this industry and do something good or significant in this industry, or break into it? What would you say, or considering it as a potential profession? What would you say?
Do the work.
Just do the work. Yep.
Respect the craft. Do the work.
And study.
Okay.
We talked about that before.
Yes.
Study the craft, whether you're going to be a playwright, director, an actor.
Yes.
Learn the craft, study, and then go and start working, and don't think it's going to be a lead role in a movie or on Broadway right away.
Right.
Work in your local theater, in your college theater, work wherever you can to learn your craft.
That's right.
Okay.
I concur with all of that. And on top of that, don't take anything for granted and don't be entitled. I'm sure all of us, in our coming up in this, we were just glad to do anything, just to have an opportunity, just to be on set or be on the stage, or, whatever you need, work behind the scenes, whatever you need. I'm just happy to be here.
Yes.
And now, I just run into, a lot more entitled people that just feel like they're ready. They're ready right now. It's like, whoa,
being coach.
Right, you know, and it's like, I think that when you move too fast, there's a lot of things that you don't learn, and you know, there's a lot of information and wisdom and technique in those grinding years where you're just behind the scenes and just hanging out and just, you know, running to get coffee or, you know, and I feel good when I meet those people even today that are like, you know, I'm willing to work behind the scenes, whatever you need. I just want to be around it. To me, that attitude is what you need to really, that's a part of the training, you know. So
Yeah.
I would say don't turn your nose up at any opportunity, even if it doesn't look like an opportunity at first, because you never know where something can take you or what it can lead to.
Right. That's good. Okay.
And relationships are crucial, because that's what else you get from that stage is you meet people and you form relationships and you know their name and they know your name and so relationships are so important.
And can I piggyback just on the relationships thing? I tell people all the time, that's why just be nice to everybody.
That's right.
Yes.
Because you don't know who's somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And because you don't know them, that doesn't mean that they're nobody. That may just be a reflection of what you don't know.
That's right.
And down the line, you don't know who knows who. And
that's
so
why we loved Obama so much.
Yeah.
Shake hands with the janitor. He sweeping the White House, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I think one of my favorite, and I'm a performance theater major. I'm not a music or performance theater major. So there's a difference. There are a couple of musicals that I love, but you know, my son and I have this we say it all the time. I want to be in a room where it happens, you know, from Hamilton. I just want to be in a room where it happens. If you put me in the room, I'll speak for myself, you know, and I'll let that happen. But again, you know, you can't get what I got unless you've been through what I've been through.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I mean? And I respect every aspect of this creative process because it will feed you if you allow it to, regardless of whether you know, the smallest thing will feed you if you're paying attention and if you're humble enough to allow it to feed you. If you respect it and you love it, if it's not a hobby and it's really a way of life for you, you'll take every bit of it that you can.
Yes.
That's good. That's good. All right. Good stuff. I hope anybody that's an aspirant director, actor, playwright, producer, that you take those things into mind. Now, I'm going to have some fun with my guests before we get off of here. Now, we're going to play a little game. Okay. I'm going to assign all of you a number just for the sequence. Okay. This is the sequence of how you're going to go. Okay. We're going to go ladies first. So, CaSaundra, you're number 1 in the sequence. Shatyrah, you're 2. Joe, you're 3. Mr. Epps, you're 4. So that means that's the order you go in. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to say a name. You just say the first thing that comes to mind.
Oh, Lordy. Okay.
Okay. I'm going to try to go rapid fire. Okay. If you don't know the name, just say pass. All right. Y'all ready? All right. So we're going in order of 1, 2, 3, 4. So remember your number. All right. Tyler Perry.
Genius.
Viola Davis.
A beast.
Spike Lee. Joe, it's you.
Brilliant. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Remember your
I have
number,
another
Joe.
idea. Yeah. I thought we were all going to speak on each person.
No,
okay, I got it now.
There's too many people. So you get
Okay.
whoever. All right. Halle Berry, Mr. Epps.
Beautiful.
Sidney Poitier.
Unmatched.
Cicely Tyson.
Timeless.
Will Smith.
Longevity.
Angela Bassett.
Masterful.
Michael B. Jordan.
It's very nice. No, it's nice.
Okay.
Up and coming.
Okay. Pam Grier.
I don't know what I want to say. A classic.
Okay. Eddie Murphy.
Comedic genius.
Taraji P. Henson.
Versatile.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Perseverance.
Regina King.
Oh man, she's a goat. I love
Antoine Fuqua.
Orchestrator.
Mm-hmm.
Kerry Washington.
Potential.
Mm.
Morgan Freeman.
I would say Ooh, I'm just gonna say respect. That's all I got is respect.
Oprah.
Mogul.
Don Cheadle.
Masterful.
Regina Hall.
Dramatically hysterical.
Absolutely.
Love it. Yeah.
Derek Luke.
Ooh. Underrated.
Diane Carroll.
Oh, she should have been my mama.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Ike Turner.
All right.
Right. Sanaa Lathan.
Underrated.
Yeah.
Chadwick Boseman.
Inspiring.
Tracy Ellis Ross.
Inspirational, I should say.
Who's the person?
Tracy Ellis Ross.
Hysterical.
Okay. Forrest Whitaker.
Godfather of Harlem.
Ooh.
That was a good one. I love that show.
I like that.
Whoopi Goldberg.
A classic.
James Earl Jones.
Oh, she keep getting all of those.
That's all I got. Yeah, that's all I got.
That'll do it.
Right.
That's all I got.
Ruby D.
Oh,
She should have been your grandmother.
right. Gosh, timeless.
Okay. Harry Belafonte.
Ooh.
Tenured.
Like that one.
Marseille Martin.
Oh yeah.
Respectable.
John Singleton.
Gone too soon.
Ava DuVernay.
Oh my God, have y'all seen Origin?
Not yet. This weekend.
Masterclass.
Ryan Coogler.
Up and coming.
Okay. And Mr. Epps, I'm going to give you two to end this segment. First one is Debbie Allen.
Oh, Renaissance woman.
Yeah.
Okay. And lastly, Denzel.
Giant.
That's
Okay.
good.
I like that.
Okay. I got one last thing. Now everybody's got to answer this. Okay. And then we're done. Okay. Thank y'all for joining us tonight. We're just having a little fun right now. This has been great. Now everybody has to answer each question. All right.
Okay.
Mhm.
Only choose one: action, drama, romance, comedy, or thriller. You can only choose one: action, drama, romance, comedy, or thriller.
Mm. Are we still going in order?
Oh, yeah. Keep the order. I guess that'll keep it clean.
I'll ooh.
Only one.
Drama.
Yeah.
Okay.
Drama.
Okay.
Action.
Okay.
Dramedy.
Dramedy.
Good one. I like that.
You were slick with that one, Mr.
I
Epps.
love
Okay.
it. Yeah,
All right.
I wish I would have
Here we go.
wisdom. I wish I would have thought of that.
Favorite movie of all time.
Oh.
Glory.
All time. Glory. Okay.
Oh my God. I have too many.
Just one.
Oh my
We
God.
need one.
Oh.
I'm gonna just throw something out there because I have a plethora of them. The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Okay.
Dang it. You can't judge me for my answer. I love anything by Will Ferrell.
Okay. Talladega Nights.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Ricky Bobby.
Okay. Mr. Epps,
Yes.
favorite movie of all time.
Hidden Figures.
I love it.
Yay.
Okay.
See, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Got history and everything. All right. And I'm in Virginia. So yeah. All right. Favorite TV show of all time.
A Different World.
She took mine.
Okay.
That and Girlfriends. I like those both
Okay.
equally.
You hear that, Mr. Epps? Hey, by the way, Mr. Epps, my wife would kill me if I didn't say this. Girlfriends, absolutely like her top. Like, I don't know how many days I had to sit and watch Girlfriends.
I don't apologize.
Hey, but listen, my joint is Frasier and Everybody Loves Raymond. So those are my ones. Oh, here she is. Here she is. She said, "Here I am."
Here I am.
Right. Oh, so pretty.
Yeah,
Hey,
but no.
sis.
So thank you.
I would say The Sopranos.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a good
Succession.
What was that, Mr. Epps?
Succession.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. These are good. Favorite actor or actress of all time? The GOAT. Who in your mind? Who's the GOAT?
one.
Actor
me?
or actress?
Angela Bassett. For me.
Okay.
For me, Ingenue Ellis Taylor.
I'm going to go with Denzel.
James Earl Jones.
Voice.
Yeah, these you can't go wrong with any of those. All right. One person, if you had an opportunity to choose whoever you would want to do any type of project with right now, who would it be?
Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, yeah. Kathy Bates.
So it's like I want to say Tyler Perry, but not for his creativity, for his business acumen. I want
to genius.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Got it.
Denzel.
You hear that, Mr. Washington?
Right. I know that.
Both of them.
All right.
We say
Right.
both of them.
Right. Okay. And thank y'all so much. We're done for real now. So here's what I want to do before we wrap up. and I guess we can keep the same order just to keep it clean. I'm sure our audience would love to support you. So tell us where they can check out any of your projects and how they can keep up with you.
I am still, hitting the pavement, trying to restructure and, start over. I'm in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Memoirs Theater Alliance is still up and coming. But my name is CaSaundra Simone. If you got a role for me, call me. Mr. Epps, hey.
Okay, I see you.
Thank you. All right, Shatyrah.
I will be I have a premiere coming out this Saturday. Here in Detroit, Chocolate Kiss Part 2. Chocolate Kiss 1 is on Tubi. You can watch it there. Widow's Fire, the last film I actually premiered, will be coming out streaming pretty soon. Not certain when, but be on the lookout for that. Trailers are on my page on Facebook, Shatyrah Dexter, and Instagram. You can see me at officially_Shatyrah.
Good stuff. Thank you. Mr. Joe.
Yes, sir. You can find me on Instagram at millionairejoe.com. Millionaire Joe is my name, all one word. And go to Tubi. I have a movie called Diamond Girls, which is a true crime drama. And I also have a thriller called A Good Man, which is a Tubi original. And got 2 more coming out. One's coming out next month called Dance with the Devil. And then I did a sequel to A Good Man. So A Good Man Part 2 will be out in second quarter as well. So that's all going to be on Tubi. Go there right now and check it out.
For sure.
Good stuff. And Mr. Epps.
I'm terrible about all that social media stuff, but I'm trying to be better. But I am on Instagram under my name. And you can also find information there about my book, which is called My Own Directions. And that book talks a lot about my history in the theater and partially in television, and a lot of the stuff we've covered tonight.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you, our audience. Can y'all give a wonderful round of applause to all my guests? Come on, can y'all fill up the comment section with cheers and applause and all of that good stuff. Thank you all so much.
Thank you
for sharing with me.
Thanks for having us,
being a part of this. And listen, share this, continue to share this. And thank you so much for being a great audience. Thank you so much, our distinguished panel, for blessing us tonight with your presence, your input, your insights. And I think this is a great beginning to Blacknificent Conversation.
Yes. Good for you.
So thank you.
Congratulations to you, sir.
Thank you.
Keep it going.
Nice to meet all y'all.
You too.
Yes, sir. All right, audience. Have a great night. Oh,